strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
This is the podcast Liberty Defined, and I guess on this podcast we're just going to be talking about liberty stuff and whatever's going on nowadays in the political climate or I don't know, whatever social world is affecting us today.
Yeah, current events.
Yeah, so as of today, what is this? It's October 30th, and in a couple of days we're going to have the most important election of our lifetime.
Of our lifetimes.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Who are you voting for,
God.
Pat?
Joe Jorgensen?
Yeah, I am still undecided. I probably won't vote for anybody. I don't think that they actually represent us, so I'm on the fence. Maybe one day, I'll wake up and I'll feel like going and voting. Maybe if I die, maybe I'll vote for Joe Biden. I don't know.
That's a good plan.
Can mail in my ballot.
It's a good plan B.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions I got for you, Patrick, is does Trump win this election?
I think it's really hard to tell. Even professional pundits and election forecasters are torn on this one. Of course, election fraud is a thing this cycle more than others. I mean, we had Russia last time around.
Well, they're blaming Russia still for the Hunter Biden's laptop and all that.
Right.
Are they blaming Russia for that?
I've heard Russia going around. I think they are. I think they're trying to.
Yeah, NBC said something about foreign intelligence. It doesn't even matter at this point. I don't even care that. I actually like Hunter Biden. He's kind of cool. There was one did you see the video? It was a picture of him. He has two, I guess they're hookers, two black hookers.
Not one,
but two. Yeah, there's another one of
impressive.
Him. Yeah, he's once you go black, There's another one of him, and in the corner, I don't know if you saw this, in like the very corner, there's like a white poodle, and people are saying that it's Obama's dog, and a lot of that's been going around with him and his daughter Malia. This is just like really like tabloid stuff, but it's very interesting.
I mean, I saw a picture of a credit card with Malia Obama's name on it, and there were Coke lines next to it. So I mean, it's probably fake, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that was Russia too.
Part of me feels awful about like dragging on with this thing, because it has nothing. It really doesn't have much to do with the election.
It can, if we can prove that Joe Biden knew about all these side dealings with Hunter, then that could really be an issue.
Yeah, but I mean, all the hooker stuff and I guess it lays the foundation that this guy is not trustworthy. Among other things. Yeah, it does. It lays the premises down that you can say that maybe Joe Biden could be bought off or manipulated because of his son's weaknesses and things like this.
I, for one, am shocked.
Well, I mean, he's pretty much admitted it himself. Was that the Council of Foreign Relations where he said he fired the guy for looking into him, told him get the hell out of here or whatever? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he withheld $1 billion of aid to Ukraine, I believe.
Yeah, and then they impeached Trump for it.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
I saw a take once, though, a little while ago, though, that they said that's why it happened. That's why they impeached Trump for that. Because now, what are they going to do? Impeach Biden over the same thing? Or
I don't think it works like that. You're talking about double jeopardy?
No, not double jeopardy, but...
Well, what is it? Marx, I believe Marx said that, and he was, Saul Alinsky was influenced by Marx, and they would say, always accuse your enemy of what you're currently doing to confuse them, among other things. And I mean, from Russian collusion to Ukrainian collusion, it's just right down to the playbook.
Mm-hmm. And we know that they are students of Alinsky.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton wrote her thesis on that, right? And I think, Barack Obama wrote his thesis. I think Hillary Clinton was actually mentored by him. Don't fact check me on that.
Don't fact check us at all.
Yeah, this is
on this podcast. We're idiots, or at least I am.
Yeah, but a couple weeks ago, Pat sat down and he was real concerned, and he told me Danny, I don't know what we're gonna do about where this country is heading. Like, what we're gonna do is it absolutely nothing. And I said, oh, maybe let's just do a podcast or something like that, and we can talk. And he's like, well, but what do we know? And I said, I don't want to. Me for one, I'm speaking for myself. I don't want to do a podcast to help. I'm trying to.
I'm trying to talk this out.
No, he's trying to talk this out. I'm trying to create as much dissent as possible. So you could take that or leave it, and that's kind of where we're going with this. And speaking of dissent, so I was asking you if Trump, does he win? Does he lose? The polls say this. Who knows? But there's enough cheating going on, and I've seen enough activity on like Twitter and Facebook where I don't know how people are voting. The question is, if Trump loses, does he step down? Does he hand over the keys peacefully?
Well, to answer that question, we have to think, what would Hitler do? What would literally Hitler do?
Yeah, literally Hitler. Well, that's another like false argument. They say Trump is a dictator or a strong man of sorts, but I've watched, I don't know how many states, maybe 8 states at least, and a whole bunch of, I've watched a whole bunch of destruction, a whole lot of destruction. I've watched a lot of burning, a lot of looting.
Yeah, in our home city.
Yeah, in New York City.
Places we've been to multiple times.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we see them on the news that they're burning down, the windows are smashed, people crowding the streets, causing destruction. It's horrible. Yeah,
I drive through the city maybe twice every week or so, or every other week, and I see the boarded up buildings. I saw some of the damage from before. So whatever, if Trump is the strongman, why didn't he just squash all that? Where were the tanks? Where was the military presence? Which is what I wanted to mention.
They were held up in Poland.
yeah. But I wanted to say, if he does lose, and it is unfair, and he does feel it's unfair, Trump just funded the military for $700 billion in one omnibus, and then another $500 billion. So well over $1 trillion. Again, don't fact check me on this. I'm creating dissent. But the fact remains that he has given the military this much money. He brags about it. We've rebuilt the military. Whether you feel that's good or not, I'm wearing a Ron Paul shirt right now, so you make your own decisions about what I feel. But if he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't have to leave.
I mean, I guess not. The only thing that's holding him back is half of the country. Well, actually, so we know that there are some people who are so obsessed with Trump, God Emperor Trump or whatever, that they would basically go to war for him.
Yeah, well,
they would try to keep him in office. The problem is that the Democrats are half the country, or at least, possibly the majority. We know that Hillary Clinton got a few more popular votes than Trump last time around.
You think that they're half the country? I mean,
well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think Republicans conservative type people probably outnumber them, but how much are they really paying attention? They're probably just paying attention to their own lives. But what I wanted to say was, how many people that would vote for Trump this time around, how many of them would see people trying to keep him in office longer than he's supposed to be and become disgusted at that and start supporting Biden?
Yeah, that's
no matter how legitimate his gripe is.
Yeah. These are the questions that this is the big question mark, and we're 4 days away from finding out. Well, not
maybe like 14, 24.
14. I mean, I don't know. If Alex Jones is to be believed, this goes all the way to Inauguration Day, and you know what? He's right more than he is wrong at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. From the moment Trump got elected, we knew that they didn't want him in office, and they were going to try everything they could to get him out.
Yeah, a good friend of ours, good friend of mine that we plan on having on the show, interviewing. I was listening to a podcast of his from 2016, and he said his prediction was if Trump wins, there will be 6 to 8 months of civil unrest. And
Good thing that didn't happen.
Yeah, we're 4 years in, so I'm just unsure. But I think the question is like what I'm constantly trying to figure out in my mind is, do people really hate Trump? Do people hate the do they listen to the mainstream media and derive their opinions from that? Because there's a lot of them, I feel like, that are that way.
I think so. I think that's their intake of news every day or every week. Maybe they watch the news a couple days a week, and that's all they see. They don't go on Twitter like we do. They don't follow these less mainstream journalists. So all they see is, Channel 7 or CNN or MSNBC or even Fox News. So they don't get a full picture of what's going on, I think.
Yeah.
And so they do just, maybe, I don't want to say trust, but they take their word for it.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting point, because Twitter and, Facebook is already kind of, I see Facebook as just another mainstream media option because there's not much truth going on. Sometimes I use Twitter and I'll take like a meme from there or take something that somebody says and put it on Facebook, and it's like original to that group of people because they'll get that news in 2 weeks. So Facebook is kind of like the boomer mainstream. It is almost Fox News or like CNN. You're not getting real stuff there. And our overlords, the lizard people, are still not happy with that, because there's censorship run amok. What's this guy? The libertarian just got banned from there.
Joshua Smith.
Joshua Smith just got banned for, he's not really controversial at all, but they took him off because he has dissenting views. Eric Weinstein, they took him off of Twitter. No, they took him off of Facebook for dissenting views.
They completely put the lid on his what was it called? Unity 2020.
Yeah. Presidential. It's a
campaign.
A lukewarm attempt at civility between the two parties.
Yeah, damp, moist.
They're like libertarians, but just worse on. They're the Libertarian Party.
They're libertarians, but socialists.
Yeah, see, it's exactly what the Libertarian Party is, which is just weak nonsense. And also they're not even good on economics. That's what it was, and that was still a step too far for Mark Zuckerberg. So they had to have him removed.
Zuckerberg?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck that guy. What's this guy's name?
Tristan Harris.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Who is Tristan Harris, and what did he say on Rogan?
He's the guy from St. Rogies. We all pray to St. Rogies. Tristan Harris was on Joe Rogan today or yesterday or whenever the hell he decides to release his episodes, and he's the creator or director of The Social Dilemma, that movie on Netflix.
Okay.
A couple of my friends sent that to me. Like, one of my friends texted me and I was like, oh wow, haven't heard from this guy in a while. And I looked and I was like, man, maybe this is a good text message. Actually, someone that I like and I look forward to. And he's like, you got to check this film out, Social Dilemma. And like maybe 4 other people told me. And because it's not like they're bad people, but like, I guess they're blue-pilled. So these blue-pill people told me this and I immediately discarded it. And I was correct, because I listened to the 2-hour Joe Rogan podcast with this guy, Tristan Harris, and they're talking about Facebook, the algorithm, Twitter, and how it's set up like a casino. And it's amazing because you probably knew this already. They have you addicted to the next swipe. They have you addicted to clicks and likes and numbers.
It's all about dopamine hits.
That's what it's about. And this is stuff that we knew at least maybe for 3 years.
Yeah, years ago.
And we're still addicted, but we knew this at least. But whatever. There's a lot of people out there that had no clue. And they're like, oh, you got to see this shit. It's like, I don't know. My pineal gland is decalcified and my eyes have been open, so it's kind of boring to hear them talk about this, but it's nice to see them finally catch up.
How do you decalcify your pineal gland? You just smash it against the table?
Yes, smash it against the table. Don't brush your teeth. stay away from deodorant and don't drink tap water. There's a couple of things that you that you can do, but that's for another day, another episode.
The how-to episode.
Yes, we'll be releasing that series soon. Stay put.
Yes.
So this guy Tristan Harris is talking about he's talking about these things, and then he starts talking about censorship, but he kind of dismisses censorship and blames it all on an algorithm that makes people want to just keep clicking. So
Who wrote the algorithm, Tristan? Who wrote the algorithm?
Yeah, the algorithm is basically it's aimed against the conservatives or right-leaning people, or even like people that are kind of, I'm not even sure how far left it goes, because they allow Black Lives Matter and Antifa. That's
people
fine.
that are trying to go against the narrative. Any dissenting voice at all? Somebody telling the truth.
Yeah, I guess. Well, if Antifa and Black Lives Matter are sponsored by Nike and McDonald's, then that would fall under the allowable range of your 3x5 opinion card.
Oh man.
Yeah. So he was trying to rationalize that it's all the algorithm, and it's kind of like a coincidence that it falls under that these people get censored because they're just trying to get you more addicted. Like he was applying a free market argument where like, oh no, this company's just about profits, and they're not about, controlling the narrative of what people see. And it just so happens that since they're about profits and the algorithm is created this way, that now we're on the brink of civil war. And to me, it just sounds like bullshit. And Joe Rogan kind of calls him on it too a little bit when he talks about Eric Weinstein. He's like, wait, my friend was just, and he was like, oh, that was probably just an algorithmic thing. And no, it's.
So why does he think that his other friend Alex Jones was banned?
They don't really. They bring him up, but not in this context, because.
Okay. Does Joe Rogan think that Alex Jones was banned over his 2012 comments?
I don't know
about
what
Sandy Hook or whatever that was.
I don't know what Joe Rogan thinks, and I don't want to speak for him. I have no idea what he thinks, but I hope that he could see through some of that guy's. It's not that the guy is completely full of shit. It's just when you frame something that's this serious that way, I can't look past it, and then I start to question your other motives.
Yeah, it was like when Jack Dorsey and his what was her name? Vijaya, whatever her name was,
the
lawyer, when they were on Joe Rogan with Tim Pool, and Tim Pool was really hitting back at Jack, and he was kind of destroying everything he was saying.
Yeah. There's, it's interesting. I was listening to another podcast, and they were kind of surmising that Jack might be a created person, like
Jack and Mark.
Well, Mark is a robot, but Jack seems like a real person, but somebody that's just kind of put there as a face.
Oh,
because
okay.
You can tell. I got some sincerity from him from both of those podcasts where I'm like, he doesn't know what the hell's going on, and he was actually fired from Twitter for like just doing yoga, like leaving. He had a job to do or whatever because he's the CEO, and he just left and started to do yoga, and they were like, no, they fired him in like 2012, and then they put him back there, and I'm like, oh. Why did you put him back there? He's kind of a screw up, right? And this company seems like it's running pretty well.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they were losing a lot of money back then. And I heard this argument recently too, that the reason they started doing better is because Trump started tweeting a lot, and more celebrities started joining Twitter.
But that also kind of
talking
goes
about pedophilia and whatever celebrities like to talk about.
that goes to what Tristan Harris was talking about, where the social media and he's correct on that point, where it gets its most engagement from, I guess, outrage, or when I guess it's more natural for us to continue to talk if we have some kind of opposition. If we agree on everything, it's kind of boring, even though we do kind of agree on everything almost.
I agree.
Okay, Dave Rubin. Well, what I don't agree with you is just the voting for Trump. I know that, I don't know what.
Okay, so yeah.
What's your rationale?
I voted for Trump this time around. In
just outed him.
2016, I didn't.
Who'd you vote for in 2016? Gary Johnson? Jill Stein?
Ron Paul Reagan.
Ron Paul Reagan. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I voted for Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I voted for Trump because I think the most glaring reason is the most important issue of 2020 is the shutdowns, the government shutdowns of small businesses, which they've destroyed countless of.
Yeah.
A lot of people are out of work. There's unconstitutional mask mandates being talked about and being implemented in some places, and a lot of stores don't even want. I mean, some stores would not have mask mandates, but for the government forcing them to.
Yeah, it's not organic. That's definitely true.
So the reason I voted for Trump is simply put because he's for opening back up the country back up, and Biden wants more lockdowns, rolling lockdowns, random lockdowns, and also the mask mandates. And I ain't down with that.
I agree with you.
And also he's better on a bunch of other issues. He hasn't started any new wars. His tax plan is better. He wants to bring the troops out of Afghanistan, the longest war in American history, and he wants to bring that to an end.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, because he said that before. He's the commander-in-chief, which means he's specifically in charge of the military. He said he wants to do. That's what he ran on in 2016. He didn't do it. Right. I get that there's other things at hand, but like Dave Smith says, there's a fucking genocide going on in Yemen, and that's very true. Yeah. I've seen the pictures and they're heartbreaking.
They are, yes.
But one of the things that does reserve me still is the pictures are heartbreaking because I guess I have kids, so it kind of really does pull on my heartstrings a little more.
You never seen Starving Children before?
Starving Marvin. Yeah, it's awful, and I couldn't imagine that. But
yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's more importantly than that, I guess to us here in the United States, the fiscal conservativeness of Donald Trump, which is, if I had to rate him on a scale of 1 to 10, it would be a -5. But I didn't expect that. I mean, you're talking about a guy who does spend money, does have houses filled with gold.
He runs debts in his own businesses.
Yes, he runs debt. I mean, I'm not going to trash him as a businessman because I'm not at that level, nowhere near that level. So I don't know what he's doing, but he hasn't been responsible with what's going on here. He's put his name on. He put his name on the checks.
Right. He put his name on the checks, and he put his name on the bill. I mean, he signed it, but we can't put the blame squarely on him because it is Congress that comes up with the bills, and it is both sides that have to negotiate on what to put in it. And we both know that the Democrats, if they had their way, they would fill it with, pork.
I agree partially, but then I'm sure in later episodes of this show, Liberty Defined, we're going to probably talk about Obama, we're going to talk about Biden, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, their drone bombings, even Obama's stimulus, the things that he didn't do, what he wanted to stop torture and stuff like that.
He kind of closed Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, closed Guantanamo Bay. And I put that on his shoulders. So I feel like if we're going to be fair, and I like Trump more than Obama at this point. I feel like he's culturally better for the United States.
Yes, definitely.
But I think if we're going to put that on Obama's shoulders, it's fair to put it on Trump's shoulders. That's, what do you think? Is that...
That's really hard to say because once the culture starts shifting a certain way, it's really hard to bring it to a stop and make it run backwards, I guess. As we know, conservatism is progressivism driving the speed limit. Mm-hmm. So they haven't been, and I don't think they are interested in truly going back to how we were before.
There is no going back. We kind of you have to go forward and make a new normal.
Right.
No,
the new normal.
That's the thing. I think conservatives are always looking back, but you can't achieve. You can't get back to, I don't know, Nickelodeon, the 2000s Nickelodeon with Rugrats. It's not going to happen. You have to go forward and create new things, and you need both sides to do that. And I don't know where the country goes from here. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, Trump. Why I'm not sure if I'll go out and vote for him is, that stimulus that he passed, it was a $2 trillion, but then when you add in the rest of it, and who knows, now they want to pass another $1.8 trillion stimulus. This is going to come back in the form of hyperinflation, or we're going to have to pay this debt somehow to China, or God, who only knows who owns this debt. And it might not be us, although it very well may be us that has to see the reckoning of what they've been doing and the sprinkling of all these loans into every aspect of the economy. This is not just like into the housing market. This is everywhere. And I'm terrified that my kids are going to have to pay for this. And I feel like if I go out and I vote, then I'm justifying, or I'm approving of what he did. So anyway, I don't know. I think it's a good place to wrap, and maybe we'll.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. On that note,
I'm Patrick.
I'm Danny, and please come back soon. Okay, that's it. We gotta go. I gotta go up because she's bugging out.